All right. Well, Frank, it's you and me. So I'm Leslie Wester. I think we've met in a former lifetime here at Triton, right? And the main focus of today is just talking a little bit about the services and how to connect your students with the services that counseling and wellness support services have. We've rebranded a little bit. We've got a few other tricks up our sleeves, so it's good to kind of have a refresher. So I can go over some of that, and then if you have specific questions that you want answered, I'm happy to go over that too. Okay. So we really shifted in 2020. We shifted away from a lot of the academic stuff that we do and focus more on the mental health and wellness of our students. So when we do classroom visits, we kind of go over some of the basics that we provide. This is not going to work, is it? That's okay. So that students have an overview. We're always happy to come and do classroom visits. Hi, Susan. So we'll just talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, how to reach us, where you can find us, and other resources that are available for our students. So we provide a variety of services. We're a confidential space on campus. We're a safe space on campus. And we can do this in a variety of ways. We do virtual appointments as well as in person. We have limited drop-in availability, but so we're mostly appointment-based. We have evening appointments that are virtual. During the day, we can do in-person or virtual. So these are some of the counselors. So Tracy is chair of counseling this year. Mary Casey and Sandra are focus on our wellness side of things. They do a lot of the psychoeducation pieces. And then Sylvia and I do more of the mental health side of things. We do personal brief one-on-one counseling. So the intent is not long-term therapy. If a student is looking for long-term therapy, though, we can work with them to find something in the community that'll better suit their needs. We do overall mental health and wellness support. I have a student that starts to feel anxious. They may connect with me and just say, I'm feeling this way. Do you have a few minutes to talk to me today? Not a full appointment, but just a quick check-in. We can do those things quite frequently. And we do those things for the paycheck. We do those things quite frequently. Transition to college support, especially for the traditional age student, it's a huge shift from how things are in high school to how they are in college, and it can bring about a lot of different emotions and feelings of overwhelmness, feelings of underpreparedness, and we can work with students on how to transition and like how to work through those things and focus on their strengths to get them a little bit more confident in these areas. Career exploration, we teach a course, but we can also do one-on-one career exploration. And then group counseling, we try, but no one ever really wants to join, but we keep throwing it out there. So if a student's interested in our services, you can direct them to our website. As a faculty member, if a student starts to disclose something to you that you think a counselor might be able to assist them with, what we recommend is that you email the student and copy counsel@triton.edu, and then we'll follow up with that student. The reason we want you to send the email including the student is then we know that a conversation's happened. What's happened in the past is we've had well-intentioned folks say, hey, can you reach out to the student? I think there's something going on. We reach out to the student, and the student's like, I told my teacher that in confidence. I didn't know that they were going to talk to you. And then that trust is broken. And we don't want that to happen. So that's why we recommend that you email us and the student saying, hey, thanks so much for trusting me. And we can go more in depth on that, but thanks so much for trusting me with this information. As we talked about, I think counseling could really help. I've copied them on this email. They'll follow up with you. And then you don't get followed up with. It then transitions to us and the student talking. You can also, if a student's like, hey, is there any services on campus? You can have them go to our website, excuse me, and right on the website is the intake form. Made it really easy. It takes about 2 minutes to fill out the intake form. They don't even have to be logged in. So they'll give us their name, date of birth, optional to give us their gender identity. if they're a currently enrolled student, best email address, so sometimes they're not even going to give us their Triton. Verifying we can email them, what their cell phone number is, verifying if we can text or leave a message, and then just why do you want to see us? We then have ideas down here that they can click on. Knowing if they already received CAS services is helpful in case we end up needing to make a referral for them. How did they hear about us? Who recommended they come and see us? And then we just want to know when they're available. We let them know it's 50-minute appointments, Monday through Friday. We have it in 2-hour blocks in an attempt to align as best we can. And Leslie said, some folks still prefer in person, some folks prefer online, and it's that straightforward. Sometimes things happen when we're not here. So the after hours option for our students is the same as our after hours EAP. So our employee assistance plan is perspectives. The student assistance plan is also perspectives. They have on-demand resources. They also have local folks in the community who are able to provide brief personal counseling as well. They're available 24/7 at the 800 number as well as online. So a lot of times if students are in a crisis and no counselor is available, they may end up being referred to calling. We have a room that they can call and connect with someone immediately. We also have partnerships across the community. So as I said, we do brief personal counseling, but Leiden Family Services does longer term. They have a wait list, so we tend to be that person in between. Sarah's in, Pillars, Proviso, we have lots of the relationships, and then depending on where you live in the community, you may be connected to one of these different services. Also, if students have insurance, we're happy to help them find a provider within their insurance network as well if they need something more longer term. We're in the lower level of the A building, right across from the tutoring center. We do teach some counseling courses. This one is a career and life planning course that incorporates some assessments in there as well as just self-exploration. And then everyone has a special topic, so we mix it up sometimes. Every Monday at 8:45 a.m. and noon, I'm out on the mounds doing Mindful Mondays. That's a combination of meditation and movement, depending on what the students are needing. We have an event, World Mental Health Day is on October 10th, so I'll give you both a flyer for that. That's going to be in the cafeteria, and then we have just workshops throughout the semester that'll be popping up. We'll be at Corn Roast on Wednesday. Yay, Corn Roast! And we also work with groups of students. So we have a group with Triumph and Surge. We try to partner with TRIO students sometimes, but if you have a group of students in your class who are interested in some of our services or the Mindful Mondays, but the timing doesn't work, you can reach out to us and we can always try to coordinate something to get more folks involved. Okay. Stop sharing. So now we're going to do a little exercise. Okay. So with Mindful Mondays, one of the things that we do in the morning especially is really just kind of center ourselves. We have this ability as humans to overthink and go too fast and focus on kind of the negative as opposed to just being in the moment. So I invite you to get a comfortable seat and just breathe. Pay attention to your breath. And as you're paying attention to your breath, notice the temperature. Is it warmer or cooler when you breathe in versus when you breathe out? Do you find your mind already wandering? And if you do, that's okay. Just come back to your breath. And as you pay more attention to your breath, are you noticing, are you breathing in deeper or more shallow? What is it that your body needs now that you're focusing just on your breath? just taking 60 seconds like that, it can really give you a reset for your entire day. Especially if you are going a million miles an hour, as I tend to, just focusing on your breath, you can gain lots of control just in that 1 minute. So,
this posture, I mean, like,
yeah.
I felt that you said get comfortable, and I'm just, this
You're
is
like,
comfortable.
exactly.
Does it matter?
Comfort is individual. So to me, I like standing, and if I'm sitting, I'm not going to sit in a chair. I'm going to sit on the floor. That's more comfortable to me. If I am sitting in a chair, I'm going to be cross-legged. Like I do that. Like, so comfortable seat is what is comfortable for you as an individual. When we're out on the mounds, I have mats set up, but I tell folks, go where you're comfortable. There's different types of therapy that are available too, where you just start with your breathing, CBT, DBT. I could do all sorts of acronyms. But a lot of the time, it's just as a student comes to meet us for a one-on-one session, outside of this, it's like, get comfy. Sit where you feel comfortable. Take a breath. Just kind of arrive. That act of being present can make a huge difference with our students, especially those who are coming to us because they're feeling overwhelmed or they have self-diagnosed anxiety or an actual diagnosis of anxiety. Just that act of arriving and being in control of what's comfortable for you. My office, I have stuffed animals. It ends up being and pillows, and students can use that to hold on to create a boundary, and it sometimes helps folks feel safer because there's something between me and them. So as they're disclosing all of this information about themselves and pouring open their heart, they can feel like they're protected. Some of my colleagues, our personalities definitely come out in our office spaces, and it's intended to, we are ourselves with our students, and we have different styles, and the students are able to kind of connect with who they need to. We have different levels of training. Sylvia offers brain spotting and EMDR therapy that she can do. I do more cognitive behavioral therapy and didactic behavioral therapy because that's where my training is in. We're all generalists though, and even though we do brief personal counseling, sometimes that's just going to be solution focused. Sometimes it's going to be a student just needs someone to hear them, and that's what we offer for them. Also in our space is we have a living room space. So when you walk in to A106, which used to be the tutoring center, when you walk in, there's a big open window space with lots of room kind of up here to the right. So we have calming music that plays in there. We have low lights, so a lower sensory. We have coloring books. We have Play-Doh. We have musical instruments, mostly just drums right now. And just this act can be calming for someone. We have fidgets, we have yoga mats, and then we have these guys. So if you would like, these are eye massagers. I have an alcohol pad if you want to clean them. But what you do is I'll do it down the camera. You put them over your head, and then on the top there's just a button, and you close your eyes, and it's going to come on. It makes a noise so you know. And then it just slowly massages your temples and goes over your eyes. And then you hold the button down to turn it off. So you don't have to, but if you would like to, you find it very relaxing. It reduces tension. If you have a headache, it helps with headaches. Though I'm not a medical doctor, it feels good. So just put out and keep your eyes closed and just enjoy for a moment. Different, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
And this is something that's available to all of our students as well as all staff members. If we're open, the living room tends to be open. So if you just need a few minutes to sit on a couch and just reset, come on in. Right, let me give you this.
And how long recommended?
It auto shuts off at 20 minutes. So any time up to that is good. What's nice in our space is that because we have the calming music going, you can drift off a little and just enjoy the peace.
Nice. It give you like heat also.
Yes. So come on over and play with us sometime.
Yeah, sure.
Now the other thing I just wanted to touch on are kind of emergency situations because I know those come up a lot. So when you're on Triton's main website, if you click on campus and police and campus safety, if you scroll way down, now I've forgotten where it is. Here we go. There's some tips about responding to students in distress, how to identify a distressed student, tips for responding scenarios, responding to a clinging student, and counseling service contact information. There's also this referral guide. Just let me screen share. And this is just kind of guiding you through different crisis type situations that may involve a counselor or may not. So if a student shares a Title IX concern about harassment or assault or stalking, you have a duty to report, and you would fill out a Title IX report form. If the student says, hey, I've got this problem, and they start to tell you, you have the ability to say, before you tell me anything else, I want you to know I have a duty to report, but there are confidential advisors on campus that can help guide you through these sorts of things. Would you like me to connect you with them? Because then those of us in counseling can work with students to help guide them through what their options are at the institution. And then even if it's something that took place off campus, that would no longer be Title IX, but it would be something that we're well versed with how to support them with and how to work with the local police if necessary and those sorts of steps.
Is Title IX on campus?
Typically,
And then,
or involving things could occur off campus if they involve two folks who are Triton. Yeah. So if a student and a staff member were to participate in something off campus and something inappropriate occurred, that would be still a Title IX concern. But typically it's when it's on campus between student and student, staff member and staff member, things along those lines. But with stalking, it's kind of, that's going to occur off campus
yeah,
frequently. So
I suppose it would govern like, email and social media types of things.
yeah, that's also where the dean of students sometimes gets involved because code of conduct is a little bit different than Title IX. There's a lot of overlap with it, but code of conduct violations can be more swiftly taken care of than Title IX violations can. A lot of what we see, unfortunately, is students who have been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed on campus or by someone on campus, and they come to us, and that's mostly what we do is work with our students on those things, or stalking. So, student shares anything about child or elder abuse and gives you details, we're all mandated reporters on that. There's a DCFS hotline, which I put on here, so if you ever don't know it, it's there. Student is threatening to harm self or others. This is one we get a lot where no one knows what to do if there's a suicidal student with them. So if the student is actively suicidal, they tell you that what their plan is, or they say, you know, as soon as I leave your class, I won't be seeing you again because I'm gonna die, or I'm gonna go in front of the train. They tell you their plan in some way, shape, or form. That's a call to the police. The reason it's a call to the police is they can get the student to a hospital and get them the help that they need immediately. If you're not sure if this is an active threat or not, when in doubt, you'll call the police. Police tend to call me, so I end up coming in as well to do an assessment, unless it's very obvious that someone's at risk. Reason being, sometimes if someone is telling you that they're ready to harm themselves, they will have what it is that they need to do so on their person, and you may end up getting in the mix of that. So that's why the police need to be involved. If they're saying, you know, oh no, this is just how I'm feeling, I can't do it anymore, and no, I don't know what I would do, and I probably won't do it, but then call us. We can come and meet you and to talk to the student, so that way the student doesn't have to walk around campus. We can assess, we can work with them to help kind of de-escalate the situation. And then we can also make an assessment as to whether or not they need to go to the hospital. I've been called before, and once I talked to the student, I think I talked to a student for about 90 minutes. And at the end of that, it was determined, yeah, I really do want to go to the hospital. So we called an ambulance. Ambulance is always going to go to the closest hospital, so they're always going to go to Gottlieb. Even if River Edge is a better option for them, they will start at Gottlieb, and then Gottlieb will do the transfer to River Edge or wherever else is a better option for them. Student is having emotional response. Sometimes one of my students told me, I just needed to cry. I didn't need to talk to anybody. I needed to let it out, and I was good. So being like, hey, do you want to talk to somebody? Yes. Okay, call us. We can come out to the classroom or wherever the student is, and try to de-escalate the situation, see what they need. If not, be like, okay, great. Here's counseling. If you want to talk to somebody, they're free. They're on campus. Because our students are adults, we cannot force them to see us. And we also, once we are seeing them, can't confirm or deny if they're meeting with us unless we have written consent. Because we not only follow FERPA, but we follow HIPAA. Stop sharing. Okay. So I think that hits the most pieces of like how to find us, what we do, how we can support you. And when it comes to, we can do classroom visits. If there's ever a student that you're like, you know, I think there's something going on, can we talk through it? Absolutely, we're happy to provide consultation and problem solving. We do that all day. So, you know, if you're ever in doubt, give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'll, you know, make a time so that we can all kind of come together and figure out how to best serve the student. Questions that either of you have about any of this spectrum of things?
Yeah, for me, it would be, and I know you showed it on the website.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of anxious to look into their tips for identification, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, we may not be skilled in properly identifying, and then, you know, there's that delicate balance that you already pointed out.
Yeah.
About recommending that they get offended,
Yeah.
you know, or, you know, betraying trust is, you know, kind of hard, you know, things to navigate, I think.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of time what happens is students are more apt to hear you as being concerned by, say, when you have the conversation of, oh, that sounds really tough. Did you know that we have free counseling on campus? Do you want me to connect you with them? No, I've got a therapist, it's fine, but thank you so much. More and more students are going to be appreciative and less offended. It's a huge pendulum switch where because mental health is such a being destigmatized as much as it is and is such a talked about thing nowadays, folks are less and less insulted if it's insinuating, I don't need a shrink. Very different from, even 10 years ago. And I know you usually teach night and weekends, so you're going to have kind of an older population, or non-traditional potentially, but I find that it's really, it's a lot smoother than it used to be to make the recommendation of us.
So if you student tell you this is between me and you, so you still, and if I'm trying to reach out to you, I have to get consent of student base.
Yeah. I've had a lot of faculty talk to me before about, well, how about when the student says, you can't tell anyone? My response is always, I can't make that promise. If you are in danger or someone you care about is in danger, I need to help. That's my job, is to help. When you frame it in that way, it's not as scary when you're like, okay, I'm so glad you told me, we've got resources on campus, I'm going to connect with counseling. I'm going to connect you with counseling. You can choose to talk to them or not, but I think they would be beneficial. In your area, if you ever want to kind of brainstorm ideas as how to refer, I would talk to Sheldon and I would talk to Rich, because both of them have really good ways that they've referred students to us in the past.
Yeah, I share the office with Rick.
Yeah.
Rich, so.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
don't recommend me. Rich is always like, go see Leslie, it's fine. I was like, no, there's all of us, and I don't work 24/7. But I know it's challenging, especially if you have a student who's having an emotional response in front of you, to not be like, I just need to fix this, or I need to get away from this as soon as possible. So that's one of those, we've got resources. Do you want me to call someone, see if someone's available?
How you guys availability?
So there is some availability this week with some of my peers, with some of my colleagues.
How about like if you teach on Saturday, you teach during the weekend?
Yeah, usually at night and weekend.
So
if somebody on the weekend,
it would be perspectives. Yeah. So someone's not on campus during that time, but there's availability through the student assistance plan to be able to like connect them with somebody to talk to immediately. The other number to keep in mind is 988, is the suicide hotline. But if you have someone who needs to call 988, I would just call the Triton Police in that instance. And then nights, if you email the council box, like we have virtual hours in the evening because there's usually just one of us on campus. And for our safety, that's why we only do virtual appointments. But that sometimes there's usually someone here until 7 o'clock. So we can always come and consult if you email the council box, because we keep an eye on that. But during the day, that's why, like, if you give us a call at 3588 or, if someone's available, they'll answer and try to come to your space. Most hours of the day, we have triage slots that are intended for a drop-in and to address concerns, especially during the hot times of the day of like 10 to 2.
Would you, be also available as a resource for us to inquire, should we recommend?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's what I saw.
Yep. Absolutely. That sort of consultation we love to assist with, and then creates a better relationship with everybody?
Oh.
Yeah, great question. Anything else? Well, I gave you all some information in terms of World Mental Health Day, Mindful Mondays, and just the counseling in general. The QR code goes to the website, and then Perspectives as the student assistance plan. Share that with your students. It's a good resource just to have. And then if, when in doubt, just email us at council@triton.edu, and we're happy to assist.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.